All right, this is the first video on expository / informative speaking. This is a combination of two events that's practiced or that's competed in NSDA. It's the combination of two events. They're actually separate events in NSDA. They're similar in a lot of ways. One key difference that you might hear about is an expository. In high school league, you don't have visual aids, and informative speaking, you do. But the nuances of the difference between the two doesn't really matter, because what we're focusing on today is basically how you write an informative speech. For the cases of our league, an informative speech will be a speech that is to educate, not persuade. Okay. You might be talking about a persuasive topic. You might be informing people about something potentially negative that's going on, or potentially positive that you support, but you're not there to actually try to persuade by providing solutions or talking and framing things in terms of problems. You're basically looking for something interesting in the world that the audience would want to hear about. This can be a lot of different things. It can be a process. For example, you can talk about, we're in the Central Valley. You can talk about the process of how almonds are grown, harvested, packaged, distributed. You could talk about another thing in the Central Valley is oil. And more Southern California or more Southern Central Valley, you have a big oil industry. You could talk about the process of taking crude oil and refining it, and all the different phases of production of oil. There's lots of different processes you could talk about. You could also talk about some kind of consumer good or technology. You can describe the latest software program, the latest in computing, talk about the latest product in engineering, lots of different things. You could talk about social trends. So maybe there is a network of people that you want to inform the audience about. Maybe you want to talk about cosplay. I don't know. Maybe you want to talk about underground world of chess. Okay. Weird. Whatever it is, you just want to get to know your topic, and it's got to be interesting enough that your audience is going to want to hear about it. Okay. So once you've found your topic, and there's lots of ways to go about this, but you doing kind of your own organic search about what is interesting to you is probably the best route. Once you have that, the next step is to start to research. Okay. So step one, we'll just say step one is the brainstorming phase. Okay, so thinking about what kind of topic you do. And then step two is the researching phase. And if you need more information about the researching phase, you can watch my video in the original oratory playlist about researching. In that, I kind of give an overview of Google Scholar, how to use Google search results, how to use the sources list at the bottom of a Wikipedia page to kind of guide your search. There's lots of different ways to research, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that here. Okay, so once you've gotten your research done, then you got to start outlining. Okay. All right. So informative speeches are a little weird because, unlike an original oratory, there's not a clear structure to the body paragraphs. Okay. The essay follows a similar structure in terms of the whole essay or speech, in that it has an introduction, has body paragraphs 1 through 3, then it has a conclusion. But what those body paragraphs contain is really flexible. Okay, I mean, that's in large part because in informative speech, there are different ways to explain things. So perhaps you're doing a process speech where you're talking about a process. That's going to be a lot different than if you're describing a consumer product, like the latest attachment for an iPhone or something. Okay, but there is a commonality, which is that you need your third paragraph will always be an implications paragraph. What that means is your third paragraph will be, given this thing, or let's rephrase, how will this thing, process, trend change or affect society, culture, government, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to really describe the impact of something. You're not describing, you're not giving, you're not saying, oh, this is only going to be good. I mean, you can say that, but the point is not to sell the product. Like if, you're talking about, you did an informative speech on iPhone X or something, you wouldn't be like, this iPhone is going to change the world and you should buy one. No, it's more like, now that we have this facial recognition technology on the iPhone X, is that going to, that may affect cybersecurity because people's faces can be hacked, or the government can watch us through our facial recognition like they already do in China right now. There's lots of different ways to go about this, but you're not persuading, you're just describing the impact of something. Okay? All right. So when you're outlining your speech, let me just give you a basic structure. If you need help with the introduction and conclusion paragraphs, I'm not going to go over those. You can watch my video in Impromptu where I talk about traditional introduction and conclusion in speech. But let's say body paragraph 1, let's say you're talking about a product. You might describe what it is first. Okay. What is this product? Social trend. What is this process? Okay. And then body paragraph 2 is really up to you. But maybe the body paragraph 2 is, why is it unique compared to similar products? Or why is this trend different than other trends like this? Why is this process interesting compared to other processes? You're basically just setting it apart from its peers. Okay. And then finally, paragraph 3, you already know, is going to be your implications. So, how will this impact the world? Okay. And that's your basic structure right there. Anything beyond that's up to you. But the informative speech is a lot of fun because you're just doing whatever you can to teach the audience. So if there's something in there that doesn't work, throw it away. The goal here is to teach them something. And the first phase is really explaining what it is, then maybe contrasting it with something that's similar or different, and then finally talking about its impact on the world. Okay, there's going to be another video to follow this one, talking about expository informative speaking, focusing on a few of the tips for speaking, the verbal part of this, the gesticular part of this, gesticulation, fancy word for what you do with your hands. And I will finally address visual aids because that is an important part of this event. So long.